Shelby starts off this hour in Springfield, Missouri. Hi, Shelby. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
We have a 2008
reality, I'm a coward. I'm collateral matter, swayed by banalities of time and space. I'm a name without a face.
Better than I deserve.
It's that time of the decade again. Silent Planet came out with a new album. Here to remind you that everything that makes you comfy also makes everything suck. The band barrages your brain through an ear enema of college words.
Who feels the fascist? The classes ain't cocaine in the masses. It passes under the contrived countenance of contrition.
In so many words, Silent Planet is a metalcore band that seems to really like reading. Lots of reading. And, relevantly enough for me, much of their music includes Christian-inspired messages and a slew of Bible references in varying degrees of proper context. In addition, their songs include stories of a wide range of complex social issues and globs of progressive politics. If you're new to a band like this, there's a lot to unpack. Like 53 minutes to unpack for this album alone. Thankfully for me, I'm not going to do that. However, I do want to talk about the peculiar importance of the band. Silent Planet just ended the arduous 4-year process of finishing a sentence. The night God slept, everything was sound when the end began. That sentence sounds worthy of a conspiracy web in of itself. The third part of this sentence, when the end began, came out in late 2018, and it was the longest and arguably best of the bunch. I put a rundown of the songs on the right of the screen along with my bastardized interpretation of each of them. I highly recommend listening to all of them, and I'll be flashing some choice lyrics in the web as well. Much of the reason that I said I wouldn't be unpacking all of this is that the music itself already discusses deep ideas and relates culture with scripture. Most of the songs also fly so far out of my wheelhouse that the only one I would really feel good about adding my 2 cents into would be Anatomy of Time, since it covers a subject that I've been bothering friends with for years, and in some regard visible unseen. With that being said, much of what I want to do here is simply highlight an interesting work. It seems to be a cut above what would normally be expected of a band that mainly screams at you. While it's always fun to riff the degeneracy and nonsense of pop music and whatever soulless stuff that some people watch today, it should be noted that the current decade has pushed a lot of what people consume into a much more philosophical direction. I think that Silent Planet exemplifies this trend. A while back, people even began to use the portmanteau poeticore to describe them along with a few other bands. While I think that Garrett Russell would take objection to this comparison, their music almost seems like a left-leaning equivalent of a Jordan Peterson lecture. They both cite Jung a lot, they both relate biblical ideas into archetypes, they both have a vaguely Christian ethos, and they both like to emphasize the brutality of Unit 731. Contrarily, the intentions of Silent Planet's lyrics seem to deal more with societal ideas that deal with being more cognizant of the world around us, while Peterson's deal more with self-improvement. Their most recent album, much like their first, ends on a depths track. These songs have been, well, deep. They're reflective, and the second one in particular is quite the cell phone with lyrics like these. This final depths track is also in that vein to an extent. By far the most intense of the trio, Depths 3 is probably my favorite song on the album. The song develops from a soft first verse that calls back to a previous Depths song, completing a loose continuity between the albums forming Silent Planet's sentence. Overall, it kinda makes you feel bad for liking the song with all of its implications of the author's suffering, but apparently this was far from the intention according to the last few lyrics.
And so in writing that song, which was the hardest and least fun, I found purpose in that. And so at the end I say, breathe me in, watch me burn. I say, come breathe me in, you'll watch me burn. I really appreciate anyone who listens to that, who chooses to take us in and to breathe, I guess, to breathe me in through all my kind of existential quandaries, I guess.
Despite all of the pain, evil, and destruction exhibited in the other songs, this song seems to induce an urge to go out and do something the most. Maybe it's because the build-up caused me to get pumped like a pre-workout song, or maybe it's because the lyrics are the clearest. Regardless, I think it's a great song to awaken to from a cold morning in the new year. However, much like an anime or reading list, there should be some sort of light-hearted works that you should add to your playlist if you plan on having a good day.